Alright, Shalom. First of all, most of all praises and honor, no glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakach, Wadash. Double honor to the apostles, bishops, elders, great millstone. And just a real quick add-on to the lesson, that I made yesterday about the doomsday prepping with that lady in that video. Just a quick add-on, right? I was thinking about it as I was uploading it, and one thing I really didn't mention in the video, but I'm about to mention it now, is another reason why, the doomsday prepping is not really going to save you, is because, adding on to the things that I was saying yesterday, is because eventually, Babylon the Great, which is America, is going to be completely destroyed. So even if you do, let's say you do doomsday prep your way all the way until that time to World War III is getting ready to happen, and when it's at its peak and they start, pressing the buttons and the nuclear launch codes and whatever, you're not going to make it out of that part. So you can doomsday prep and make your underground bunkers and your secret tunnels in your houses and you can do all the things that you can do. However, there's one thing that you're not going to be able to escape, and that is going to be the nuclear destruction. Because when that comes, that is going to completely destroy everything in this place, right? It's going to completely destroy this place. There's not going to be anything left, right? So therefore, you can't prepare, like I was saying, you can't prepare, like I was saying in the video, you can't prepare for something that, has never taken place. You can't prepare for this. We can prepare in the spirit, and physically a little bit, you can get in shape. So you might have to run, jump, hide, climb. You might still have to do stuff so you can prepare like a little that way, but for you to prepare and completely avoid all the stuff that's happening, that's not gonna happen. Because the only people that is going to make it out of here when the prophecies, when it gets that far, or when it gets to that time of that prophecy to get fulfilled, which is, the nuclear missiles, being shot over here and destroying this place, there's no escaping that one. There's no escaping it. There's no matter how much food and water and whatever you do, if you're in this place, the only people that is making it out of here is the elect. And the elect is only Israelites. So there's no other way. There's nothing that you can do and prepare for, right? Man, it's going to be quick. Revelation 11 and 14, let me get this. Actually, no, I'm going to read up a little bit, actually. We're going to start at 11 and 11. All right, this is Revelation 11 and 11. And it reads, it says, in 3 days and a half, it says, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. This is the elect. This is the Israelites being beamed in the chariots. Beamed up in the chariots. Right? It says, and their enemies beheld them. And it also talks about in the Apocrypha. It talks about how, when they're seeing the strangeness of the salvation. And then it also says, talking about this is him who is counted, among the men of the Most High, paraphrasing that too, right? So this is the elect being beamed up, because they're not going to take part of the plague, that America is getting ready to take part of. Verse 12, it says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, and they ascended up, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, which is the chariot. It says, and their enemies beheld them. It says, in the same hour, in the same hour that they were beamed up, what? In that same hour, there was a great earthquake. And what's that earthquake? What's going to cause this great earthquake? Because when you read in other scriptures, it talks about the earth is going to rock to and fro like a trumpet. And what's going to cause the earth and mountains and islands and stuff to get moved out of the places is the nuclear destruction. right? So it's gonna be all type of tsunamis, tidal waves, tornadoes, twisters, all that stuff going on, man, all over the world. Because nuclear missiles, the ICBMs, are gonna be hitting all over the world, man. They're gonna be hitting the oceans, the rivers, mountains, islands. You see, so that's that great earthquake, and what's gonna cause that is the ICBMs. It says, in the 10th part of the city fell the complete, city of Babylon the Great, because it's going to be broken down into 10 FEMA zones. If you look it up, it's going to be 10 FEMA zones that's going to be broken down into, right? It says, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. See, so in that earthquake is going to be a complete amount of people that's going to be destroyed, that was destined to die in the nuclear destruction. So you see, so that breaks down, and you're not going to be able to escape. You can stock up food for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, and it's not going to matter. It doesn't matter. The only thing that's going to get you out of here is you being the elect, and first off, you being an Israelite, which the elect comes from the Israelites, and only the Israelites. It says, in the remnant, it says, were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven, right? And because it also says, the righteous will scarcely be saved, man. So you can imagine, if you of that number, all the stuff that you didn't seen and you didn't been through on this earth, let's say you get translated from this life into the next, you went to new bodies. When you get into that chariot, man, the first thing you probably gonna do, you're gonna give glory, man. All praise to Yahweh Hashem, all praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahshua, And then you probably gonna be crying, shaking, and broken up, because you're gonna be seeing a lot of things, man. Seeing some stuff that we've never seen before, man. All types of death and just craziness, man. It says, but this is the point that I wanted right here, is in 14. It says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. There's been 2 world wars, World War I and World War II, and behold, the third one, which is going to be the one to end all of them. There's going to be no more after the third one, right? Is the one that's coming up. Is World War III, and that's going to be fought. That's going to be fought with nuclear missiles. And let's actually get this. It says, confused. I think it's in Isaiah. Confused noise. Yeah, here it is. Isaiah 9, right? And verse 5. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. You see, when you look at all the old battles and wars and stuff like that, what was it doing? It's confused noise, garments rolled in blood, because what, guns, they had the swords, the shields, the horses, the cannons, stuff like that, the shields clean, tanks being, shot off and LMGs and assault rifles and pistols and all the other stuff, garments rolled in blood, you're stabbing people, you're getting shot and all the other stuff, heads getting flying off. You see, it says, but this, so it's a distinction. It says, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And what is this? This is going to be the next war, because that's what it's going to be coming with. It's going to be coming with missiles, and those missiles get, you can look up the degrees, but it gets to the thousands of degrees of Fahrenheit on how hot they get. Millions, probably hundreds of thousands of degrees. These things burn, and it has to be hot, because what the scripture also says, what the elements should melt with fervent heat. You see, so whatever this world war is going to come to is going to melt the elements. And it's not easy just to melt, the steel beams of, infrastructures and concrete and, stuff like that. So it has to be something that's super, super hot. And what's the only thing that's going to be hot enough to do stuff like that? You see, and that is what? The missiles, man. So that doomsday prep and stuff is not gonna do anything for you. Because you can doomsday prep everything that you need, and you still won't make it out of the nuclear destruction. Especially if you're in Babylon the Great. If you're in Babylon the Great, the only people that's making it out of here is the elect. I know the elder Menashe says a lot. The Lord is getting ready to top a new high score of death, man. then let's see here. Let's get should I read this? I don't need that. Let's see. Right, and let's get this right here. It says victory for the Lamb. We're going to start at 14. It's Revelation 17 and 14. It says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. See, it says, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called, chosen and faithful. And he saith unto me, it says, the water which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, right, it says, these shall hate the whore, right? Who's the whore? The whore is Babylon the Great, which is aka America. That is America in the Bible, because you're not going to find America in the scriptures, right? It says, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. You see, it says, for the Most High, this is 17, it says, for the Most High had put in their hearts, their minds, to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Which, who does that? Right? Babylon. You see, they have the top what? The top, Babylon the Great, no doubt, is the top nation on the earth right now. The top kingdom. Faces on all the money. You know, their religion is the top of the world. You know, their cultures are their, I would say, their holidays, the holidays that these other people shouldn't be celebrated. They celebrate them over there in other parts of the world. America has the most influence over any more than any other nation on here, more than China, Russia, anybody. And everybody knows that. You can't deny that. So America is that golden city, that great city, what's talked about in Revelation, Babylon the Great. You see? So that's all I wanted. Like I said, it's gonna be a quick add-on. I just wanted to add that on to, the doomsday prepping thing, because you can't prep. There's nothing you can prepare for destruction. That's what you can prepare for. You get your mind right, enjoy, whatever pleasures you have in this place. If you another nation, or you 2/3 nigga, there's nothing you can prepare for that. You can prepare for death. But preparing, thinking you're gonna make it and escape all this other stuff that's going to take place, is just not gonna happen. Because you can escape. Let's say you escaped the famine. You found a house in the woods, or an abandoned neighborhood or something. They had a whole bunch of canned goods to last you. Okay, cool. You made it past one thing, but the next thing is going to get you. See, I'm actually going to close out with that. That's actually the scripture. It says, and what is it? In a bear met him. I'm just going to put bear met him. Bear met him. Yeah, here we go. Amos 5 in verse 18, it says, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? It says, for the day of the Lord. It says, it's darkness and not light. It says, as if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him. So you escaped. Let's say you escaped the lion. You escaped something, but then you got met with the bear. You see, or went into the house. So you got let's say you escaped from the bear too, and then you went into the house, and then you was catching your breath, and then when you leaned on the wall, and then a serpent got you, snake bit you. You see, it says, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? You see? So you might escape one thing. You might escape the FEMA troops, but you're going to get caught with something else. You might escape the famine and the FEMA troops, but you're going to get caught with something else. But the one thing that you're not going to be able to escape is when the Lord comes back and the missiles start flying. That's one thing nobody is escaping, man. You can't get away from that. And then obviously, if you do escape, all those other things, obviously the Lord has made you get through all those things so your judgment can be fulfilled on the earth, which is for you to get destroyed and you burn up when the nuclear missiles hit. Because it also talks about that. That's in Zechariah, where it talks about, the eyes shall consume in their holes, and their flesh shall consume away while they're standing on their feet. You see, there's only one thing that can do that. It has to be a strong, super hot force. And super hot is not even the word. You need something even you need even something, greater than that to describe it. But the point, you get the point. So that's it. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua.